I have a couple of regression examples to talk about. A long time ago, I used to work in a forecasting department, and one of the ways that we would forecast is to take a straight line regression. Excel is great at doing straight line regressions, but unfortunately, the formula that you need to use is really difficult. Let's go up and look at cell G2. You'll see that it's the line ST function, stands for straight line, and we just have to specify our sales numbers in C2 to C35. But here's the gotcha. The line ST function doesn't return one number, it returns two numbers. It returns the slope and the y-intercept of a line. I hate to get all mathematical on you, but any line is y equals mx plus b. B is the y-intercept, m is the slope. Here's what you have to do to actually pull this off. You have to select two cells that are side by side. So select G6 to H6. Start to type the formula, equal line ST. Select your sales cells. I'll click in C2 and down and the closing parentheses. But you cannot hit enter here. This is one of those special array formulas. We have to hold down the control key, hold down the shift key, and then hit enter. And Excel gives us the answer. It does not give us the headings, and I always forget, is it slope on the left or slope on the right? It's slope on the left and y-intercept on the right. Now, I hate that Excel tells me that this has to be side by side. What if I really want it to be on top of each other? Take a look at this formula in G12. The line ST function is going to return two cells. I can use the index function, that completely useless function that I talked about previously, and say that I want the first row and first column from the result. Simple enough to get the slope. If I go down for y-intercept, I'll ask for the first row and second column. Straight line regression, that's the easy example, unfortunately. Let's move on and look at the next worksheet. In real life, nothing is ever as simple that there's just one variable causing things. Here we have Sally's ice cream stand. She went through the summer and kept track of how much she sold each day in column C. But she also paid attention to what the temperature was that day and whether or not it was raining. When people decide to buy ice cream, obviously you should sell more on a hot day than a cold, rainy day. Hit page up and you'll see how this works first, and then we'll come back and build it ourselves. While line ST returned two cells that were side by side, in this case, we're going to have a large array that gets returned. It's still the line ST function, but it's going to return 5 rows of values. I happen to have two independent variables today, rain and temperature. It will always return one more column than your number of independent variables. Strangely enough, the y-intercept always ends up in the upper right-hand corner, and then the variables work their way backwards. So temperature is the first variable in column A, so the coefficient associated with temperature will appear to the left of the intercept. Rain is the next variable in column B, so the coefficient for rain will appear to the left of temperature. We also get a whole bunch of statistics, and they come back completely unlabeled, so I've built this diagram here to show you where the important statistics are. R squared is always in the first column of the third row. R squared tells you how well the regression worked. It ranges from 0 to 1. A 1 means it's a perfect model to explain what's going on. A 0 means that it's not a good model at all. In this case, 0.88 means it's pretty good. There's also a whole bunch of other statistics that I have labeled there, and if you actually paid attention in statistics class, you would know what they mean. I, unfortunately, did not. Let's go down and take a look. I've colored in the area in blue so that way you know how large of a range you have to select. Type the line ST function. First, Excel wants to know the sales. So our known sales are in C33 through C37. Hit the F4 key. Type the comma. Next, Excel wants to know the known X's. Those are all your independent variables, and those have to be specified in a single range. Select A33 through B42. Hit the F4 key. The constant function specifies whether the y-intercept always has to be 0. In this case, we don't care, so type a comma. And finally, stats tells us whether or not Excel should give us the R squared and all the other values. I do want those, so type true. Click the closing parentheses and then Control-Shift-Enter, and Excel very quickly does the regression and gives us the results. The beautiful thing about the line ST function is that this regression is live. If we would change the numbers, discover that it wasn't really 56 this day, it was 44, Excel will recalculate the numbers on the fly. This is incredibly powerful. I don't know if you remember back to high school math when we talked about regression. It would take you the whole day to do what Excel can now do in seconds. Let's move on.